Poetry Show with the Lonely Poet.
Yo, folks, what's up? What's going on with the world? Huh? What's up, my man? And that's what how people were talking yesterday evening, right after I did all this show and everything, I went downstairs. There was a big party going on at my neighbor's. I haven't even seen my neighbor in like maybe a month or so. And suddenly there is a big party going on there. So, and it's a little chill out there. So that's why I was wearing this hoodie. And this hoodie is a very, very old one. I mean, you have no idea how old this is. 2007. Yeah, 2007, I came here for Summerfest. And on that particular day at Summerfest, it was a little chilly in the night. And I was wearing a t-shirt and I was like, what am I supposed to do, man? I need, something to actually wear, and my friend was with me, Nitin, and he's like, man, you do something, because we were in a concert, I think it was a Flyleaf concert. We were going to go there. Then I said, okay, yeah, why don't you just, save a spot for me? And we went in, I saved, then I said, okay, even with among the people, I'm feeling cold. So I went out and bought this. So it's from 2007. So that's like 13 years now, nearly 13 years. Summerfest will be in another 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. In another week or week and a half, there would have been Summerfest, but it got cancelled. I'm lean back, this is a Sunday. I'm a lean back, I can sleep, I did all my homely, things, did some little bit of cleaning and everything. I went downstairs early morning. I woke up and I actually did my prayers, morning rituals and everything, all those things. Then I came back here and I sat here and I slept for like some time before I woke up. And, I fell asleep and I was like, man, what's going on with me? Why am I falling asleep all over the place? And if I sit down, in a relaxed mode, if I sit like this, I can just sleep. So from darkness, I come back, So yeah, this thing is, I don't know, I tried adjusting it. Now the color actually went down. So this camera, it need to be thrown out. uh, it really needs to be because it kind of automatically try to adjust everything. I need to buy a very much more professional camera. I may have to talk to one of those, I mean, there are these, girls who comes from sex sites. They take those super videos and pictures and everything. They have these professional cameras. I may have to talk to one of them. They are in, I know, in one of the groups I am in, they are there. From East Europe, mostly, even from United States, there are, girls who works there. Girls who works there. And it came. And it came. I left it on. So see whether it is going to work. Yeah, there it came, so that's very nice, oh my God, So I may have to talk to them. And, talking to them is like not a very, many people actually think that even talking to a wicked girl like that, is going to, turn me into the evil side. No, that doesn't happen that way. I'm not an evil person, in that way. I know a lot of these people who work in different weirdness. Even when I was working at Boston store, there used to be all these weird women, who come there. They ask for favors. I will give you a hug. I will give you a kiss. I will give you, one girl once offered me, a pass, with which I can get into a strip club, called Silk, in somewhere in North Side, So, and I was like, I don't go to strip clubs. I don't. But if you want a discount, I have these coupons, which I can use, and it will give you like about, I think it was like 35% off. Or you can, take a rewards card and you will get you'll get discounts, and then once, a Middle Eastern lady came, she do not have even a passport. I know she do have a passport, but it is a Middle Eastern passport. I don't know how to use it. And she wanted a rewards card, but I don't know how to use that. Then immediately, when that's when Little Boss was there, and Little Boss came back, and I told her, there was this girl who wanted a rewards card, but she only have a Saudi Arabian passport. And she's like, you should have called me. And I was like, what? You can do that. It's like we can use a tablet or something like that. We could have used it. We should have used that. What is this, man? I get muted. That's what it's saying. So yeah, those kind of things. This is the introduction. So this is how I get into the mode of getting into a talk show. See, you start talking, you talk shit, and then when shit is not happening, well, I don't want shit to happen now. I don't want to, drop my show and run. This is getting recorded in YouTube. uh, so yeah, it's fascinating how people will offer free things. I think I may have to talk to one of them and ask them, how do I get a camera? I mean, I may spend a little money on that. I mean, it should be a very professional camera instead of this. I don't know, man. The light is just going away. I am, getting pushed into perpetual darkness. uh, I don't know. Let me see if I can adjust a little bit because I may have to sit close, and if I go backwards, it goes dark. I don't know what is it. We were trying to. I not we. I was trying to. Because I tried. Yeah, the exposure is the problem. Okay, I believe this is okay. Okay, I hope it stays like that. Now it became fuzzy. See, when I actually change that exposure to that, it becomes a fuzzy image. So let me correct that. So yeah, we have plenty of time. The poem and everything. It's a repetition. Poem. It's a repetition poem. That's what I call it. Uh, Exposure is. I need to put the exposure at 0. If I put it at say -5, 4, then I might adjust the brightness. Okay, this is crazy. The aperture won't work. It doesn't have an aperture. Yeah, that's true. Let me see if I can adjust the brightness. It became too bright. And then I am going to adjust the contrast a bit. I don't know, it's all contrasty and bright and everything, but whatever that happens. I hope at least it doesn't bother me. It kind of bothers me, when this thing adjusts by itself, So this looks a little, on the darker side, but I'm okay. We'll leave it at that, Who is looking at me anyway? Nobody comes in to see my looks. So this. Oh, this is a ring I really. This is not the part of the other rings. This is, if you look at closely, you can see there are two stones in it. The bottom one, which you see from here, is an expensive stone. It is emerald. It is not the priciest emerald. I mean, it is a cheap emerald. And then the top one is peridot. So it is green ring. I like green color, and I bought that. Not just that, because there is an astrological thing. Because I was, in a situation of I don't know how do I say it in English. The face of not the face. It's called in Indian, Vedic astrology. It is said the dasha or the period of Jupiter. So you go through the period of Jupiter because Jupiter then need to go through. You are in that period and it starts from some thing. So I am in the period of Jupiter and it is ending. This is where I think I may have to give you a little bit of education on astrology. Mm, People goes through these different periods of time. When I was born, it was like the period of I think it was sun, the period of sun, and then it started from there. Then other planets and everything will come. Now I'm in the period of Jupiter. Uh, This is, a basic belief. When you go through this, the period of Jupiter lasts for more than, I think, 12 years. It takes for Jupiter to go around the sun. So that's what the one period is called. So it should go through each and every one of the zodiac sign. But even though all planets did not, will not move in that way, my goodness, what red. You look red. Well, I've got a tan color, I'm not a white guy or a black guy, so let me adjust that. I will tell you about this, this astrological thing. Let me adjust this. Just too bright, or should be in between that, isn't it? Because this stupid thing, I can show you what the heck is going on. Yeah, I think it is good now. Because from 7, it falls to 5. They cannot be 6. So I think we are better. Nobody is saying that I'm a red guy. Well, I am, tan, deep tan. That's my natural color. I'm from South India. So now coming back to the astrological part, the astrology, it's fascinating. But when it comes to Saturn, the next one is Saturn. The Saturn period starts sometime in, I think, April, June, July time of 2022. So this is the last part of things. So that's when I'm supposed to wear this ring. Even though I have this ring for like last 6 7 years, so it's supposed to do benefits for me. So that's a astrologer said at that time. I was looking for, either they said, okay, either you should get a emerald ring or a peridot ring. Then when I was looking in Etsy, Etsy is a place. I love Etsy. That's one of my favorite places. Etsy. I go there. I went there and I was looking for this. Emerald ring, peridot ring. I looked at some of the emerald rings. They're like, we expensive. I'm a poet. On a poet's budget, emeralds are not. Then I found this ring. It got both. And I was like, okay, I will buy that, and even though it cost me a bit, I think this ring cost me like $125 or $130 um, at that time, and I don't know about now. So this is going to be over. I mean, this period part. So that's why I have this ring. The period of Saturn, and I will tell you some interesting things about that. The period of Saturn. uh, Saturn is a lame, represented by a lame person in Vedic astrology. I don't know a lot about this astrology and other things. I don't look into charts and other things, but I know about some of these stories, because I'm interested in the stories behind all this. So, and I will tell you a real life situation too, not on me, somebody else. Saturn give you all kind of benefits during that period. I think even though Saturn really takes 29 years to go around the sun once, so that means 1 year in Saturn is 29 years. I think that is thing. But it only, in astrology, because of the movement of the zodiac, it only takes for 19 years for it to go through it. And in Vedic astrology, there are no Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. None of those guys are even taken into consideration. Okay, it's Moon, then another guy called Ketu, and something like that. I don't know about all that. Where are those guys? uh, but in Western astrology, they take all kind of planets and then Lilith and other things. Um, so in 19 years, he will give you all kind of benefits. And this I have seen, in real life. Make you famous, give you wealth, give you, power, things like that. But when he leaves, that 19 years later, when he leaves, he just, he's a lame guy with that lame leg, he will pull everything down. And with your own bad karma, you will blow this whole thing out. and it will all fall apart. Here is my story. you know, Unfortunately, the person who I'm actually talking about passed away. It's not my mother, it's not my father, it is one of my cousins. He is a politician. He was a politician, and he was a young politician who had gone through the sacrifices of life to when it comes to working for the party in India. It is party alliance is uh, very big. That allegiance is amazing. Whether it is Communist Party or Congress Party or any other party, you work from ground up. Uh, and he was working there, and the leader of the party, the chief minister, I mean, he's the head of the state government. He is in direct communication with him, and it's like a pet for him. He's the entourage directly connected to that chief minister. And one bright morning, and he's very powerful because of that. He got the power, he got money, and in India, the politics is completely corrupt. So people will come and give you money for no reason. But they may have some reason afterwards. But anyway, when you get that position, immediately people will come and give you bags and bags of cash. You know, I'm not kidding. Because they will find some reason to eventually come and take benefit from you, and they will use that, and politicians are there for that. And he was having money and cars and busy. I don't know whether he had phone at that time. There were no cell phones, so wireless phones. So even when his house, he's having like this phone in his hand all the time. Not a cell phone. It's not a cell phone. It is a wireless, uh, phone. So long story short, the chief minister ends up in an accident, and he's in the hospital, and at the verge of almost nobody is sure whether he's going to come back alive. And this my cousin and two other young politicians joined together, and they actually came and started saying that, okay, they understood that in India there is a chance the chief minister's daughter and son were really trying to take over this whole party positions with their own people. And so these guys actually turned around and tried to push them out. So that thing is going on, like tug of war going on between these two groups. And this guy, the chief minister, is in the hospital all in coma. And everybody thought, okay, he's never going to come out of the coma because this guy is almost 70 years old. But for the weirdness of things, that guy who's lying there in the bed in coma came out from the coma, and on third day he started walking. And these three guys, who actually started all these things against his son and daughter, they ran. They were like underground. That's the other side of things. If it doesn't work, then you are going to be wiped out. And I was like, oh my god! And he came to one of the astrologers. I know that astrologer. I was not there physically myself. My brother and him, were there. Told my brother, you take me to this astrologer, and they took. And my brother later told me. The astrologer looked at him and said, okay, your Saturn period is over. And he said, it should be good time. He said, that was what created the problem. That's the guy who told. The Saturn is represented by a lame person. The lame person is pulling everything down from you. That's why, because of your own action, everything is gone. But he then later, came back, because the next parts of his life, was very good. He later became a very prominent politician. And he became a member of the parliament in India. He represented, Kerala state, all the way up. He won like 3 elections. He lost a lot of elections, but then he started winning. So that, life turns around. It's a cycle. So for me, that Saturn period is going to start in 2022. So 2022, I will be like what? 52 years old. Okay? Then 19 years from there. And at the end of it, this guy may eventually screw this whole thing up. But 19 years from that point, will be like, I'll be 71 years old, isn't it? Oh, that's okay. If things are getting screwed up at that time, maybe I'm married to little boss, and when little boss will catch me, cheating with somebody else, nah, I won't cheat. I don't know whether I can even keep it up at that time. if I can cheat at that time, yeah, the little boss may herself may come and say, "Oh, okay, you're good." No, that may not be the thing. It's not that, it's not cheating or anything like that. That it usually happens when you build a career or you build something up uh, based on false notions. Telling 100,000 lies, and then you have to say another 1 million lies to make the lie look right. That's one of the reasons why those are the things that taught me. You know, even from I was very young at that time. So those are the events in life that actually taught me that I have to be very honest. You understand? Why I said I have to be very honest with everyone and every aspects of life. That's what I was actually saying. Um, because I can live with the consequences of something not happening in my life. I can live without any serious help from others. But sometimes, you may end up in trouble. Then you need help, and the very close ones are the ones who stand by you and help you. That also happened in my life. But speaking from my life, my experience, you have to be honest. So when you are honest and you do things, these kind of weird events that happens for whatever reason, you know if you believe in astrology or astronomy or Vedas or Bible and Torah and Kabbalah, Sufism, everything is there. Each and everyone have their own methods of finding these kind of situations. If you are honest to yourself and you have nothing to hide, then you are okay. You are going to be, there will be a lot of bad things happening. People will spit on you, but you can just wipe off the spit and just clean yourself up and just walk out of there saying that, okay, I'm good. But when you put yourself in compromising situations, being dishonest, that's when things are going to come and hit you, where people will not only spit on you, they will throw shit on you, and which you will not be able to clean out. So be very careful about that. I mean, these kind of things happens. There is a time when you will think that oh yeah, the world is in my hand, in my palm. The world is not in your palms, or in your both your hands. You are holding. No, you are not holding the world. The world is not in your hands. The time is there for you to get your shit right, or okay, get your things right, and that's the time. Good things are happening. In those good timings, you have to do good things. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with your friends. You have to be honest with your parents and your lovers. When people love you, there are people standing in front of you, like I'm standing in front of little boss saying that I like you. When that happens, when you actually go and say, okay, get the fuck out of my life. No, she didn't say that, but but something similar to that. Saying that, when you say, okay, yeah, don't come to where I work. Things like that. When that kind of things happens, when you do that, eventually there is a point at which this whole thing is going, the table is going to turn around, and that's when a true lover will become true lover, because then you can see when the tables start turning, this guy always will be with you. He's not stalking you. He's not trying to trace you. He's not trying to bother you. He's trying to be with you because he knows the fall will happen, and when that fall will happen, by his own body or by any other means he can possibly do, he will be there to actually protect you. Because that's the guy who truly loves you. Because love doesn't see any of these kind of weird things. That's one of the poem I'm working. When you have the lover, you loving. When you have the lover you are loving, you loving you, that makes you a very, very rich man, because that is the richness that comes to you. This is not the point I'm going to work on. I'm actually put that idea in there. So it's in there. You can see. It's in here. See, I don't know whether you can read that. Okay, I don't think so. So I wrote it down earlier today, and I'm just sitting on it. With an idea. It's just a line. Probably maybe a quartet will come out of that, and I'll write that. So yeah, that's how relationships and love and romance and other things work. I'm repeating it for the third day because those people who you think like close friends, who is going to be standing beside you when you fall down, they are not going to be there forever. They have their own life to live, and then who is going to be there? There is a person who is going to live with you. No matter what is happening, who is going to stand by you, who is going to live with you, who is going to be the most amazing, amazing, amazing supporter of your life. That is the one who truly loves you, the one who you should be loving. You should understand that love and go with it. That vibes, that's where things are. Instead of seeing, oh yeah, six pack abs and I don't know what else is there in our human body. You know what? Some people are not even good looking. Most of the men are really bad looking when they are naked. You see that I always said, when I was back in India, when we go and play cricket and all, I say, these guys will come into changing rooms and other things, they will actually take off all their clothes. I said, come on guys, use a towel. I always use the towel. It's like, why you don't want to show this? I said, I have no problem showing. Okay, here it is. Okay, if everybody want to see it. Okay, that's it. But do I look really beautiful to you? No. I would like to see a naked woman, because women, they are beautiful in naked, you know, not all women, but beautiful women. Well, but not like men. Men are not supposed to be naked, in public. So it's like women are also not supposed to be naked in public. I'm not implying that, don't take me wrong in there. What I'm saying is, you know, you have to be that you have to have that perception of finding the right right attitude and right you know how do I say right vibe in a person. And it is not just the love alone that works too. I mean, that's true. I mean, that part is very, very true, where it's a mix of all these things. I'm going to give you a religious example about it. When somebody asked about people going to heaven, um, I'm going to quote Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Islamic prophet. Someone asked him, what is the criteria of going to heaven? And he's like, what are the things? By knowledge. Will someone actually go to heaven? He said, no, the devil will be the first one to go to heaven. In that way, if knowledge is the matter, because the devil knows everything. Because the person or the Iblis, he was called Haris before. He was the teacher of angels before he fell down, from there, and he got kicked out of there, to the heavens. You guys call it, whatever, Christians call it one way, in every religion there is this person, got kicked out. Um, so that's then yes, okay. What about actions, the prayers, and it's called in Arabic it's called ibadah. That means okay, the actions for God. Like in Muslims actually do 5 time prayers. I think Christians also go and do their recitals of things. Those kind of things. When you do that, because of that, will you go to heaven? And the prophet said, no. Even in that, you know, he believes, this devil is the one who will go to heaven. That is the case. The reason is, for 1,000 years, okay, he prostrated on earth for God for 1,000 years without even leaving 1 inch of earth. At that time, he went out to prostrate for God. So that's how that he is from the Jan, or the Jinn. So for 1,000 years he did that, but then what happened? Is the one moment he deviated and or disobeyed God, he's out of there. So even with actions, you're not going to go to heaven. Then what? Belief. With just a belief alone, will you actually go to heaven? So, even in that case, there are people who believes everything, but one action of them that can lose their belief completely. And error. One of the things that was said, okay, there was this lady who was a very, very, very prominent lady in Arabia. That lady once tied down a dog, because that dog is actually making a lot of noise or something like that, and I think he was doing some harm to her, eating some of her crops or something like that that was there. So, so she tied it up and didn't feed that dog, because of her anger. I think it was put some crops or something like that for drying, and this dog was eating that. So when a dog eats something, nobody eats that. So she actually tied up the dog and didn't feed the dog at all, and the dog died. And the prophet at that time said, okay, that woman, no matter how much prayer she's going to do, no matter how good is her belief, she's going to go to hell for that. Because so even with your just the belief alone, you are not going to go to heaven. So what is it? The balance of all these things. You need to have each and every one in correct balance. How you get to the balance is what you are going to actually face. That is the struggle that is happening within you. The inside of you, deep inside of you, there is that balance that you need to keep. When that gets imbalanced, then you will have all sorts of confusion. This, I think I'm going to use a word, that is menacing, very misunderstood. That's where in Arabic or in Islamic theology, they call it jihad. That means that struggle, that internal struggle to find the balance between this spiritual part of things and the material part of things and putting each and everything in balance. That balance is where the devil will come and try to twist you. I will teach about this, or I will, speak about this, yeah, something else, that scared many people long time back. I know, I know, Joe knows about that. Joe's wife was there right in front of me, and she's like, bah, she's scared. She got scared, so that I will give you that, but that itself is another show. Probably it should be a different poetry. Maybe I'll write a poem about that. But yeah, that's how this whole thing. You need to find that balance. So that comes and applies in every aspect of your life, even in your romantic life. Where everything may not be perfect with the person. So if I look at one person, when I'm looking at, I'm not going to look at, oh yeah, each and every aspect of life is perfected in that person or not. No, I don't. I well, to a great extent, I don't know a lot about some people. There are some those things, you don't need to know. So something like, for example, that question came to another person in my, not in here, not in the chat or anything like that, in another person. How do we know about, that the intention of a person, and when, it's just romantic, or it's just looking for the money of things, so it's okay. So when that happens, I said, okay, the issue here is, okay, you need to gain an understanding of that person. That's the best you can do. If you go and digging the past, okay, you may see unpleasant things. But what are you digging in? You are digging in past. And does it mean anything to you right now? I'm seeing a person right in front of you. And that person is as he is, are you ready to accept that person? The reason I said was, okay, that woman, she is from, I think, New York. We were actually going through that, and I think, what's the name of her? That's a, Sarah or something like that. Apsara, I think, yeah, Apsara. Shown that, girls, be careful when you show that, because then I figure out, okay, that girl is, her videos are not, it's all copyright protected. But especially if you try to record this, make sure that you don't, show things like that. But she had showed that, that girl was actually reading a specific portion of Quran, and she said something very, 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 touching to me. I mean, it touched me deep, because she said she was a prostitute, and she then later moved on and converted to Islam, and she's living a very pious life right now. She don't wear hijab or anything like that, but she puts a hoodie. She wears the hoodie on. So, but that was very shocking. But I will definitely look into that. I mean, but, she reads the Quran in English, even though it is not the perfect or ways of reading it, and she gets her own interpretation of it. I think I posted a video of her on my Facebook. So that's the thing, when you look at that person, I don't know whether, I needed to know, or anybody need to know, whether she had that past. In a way, if somebody is coming in front of me and going to stand in front of me and tell me that, yeah, I was married before, I had children before, or I have a child before, or anything like that, and I was like, okay, I like you, then whatever that comes with you is something which I am going to actually embrace it, because I like you. That's where it starts. Then you go into the rest of the things. It doesn't mean that I'm going to immediately dislike her because she got other things. Say In the same way, like long time back, long, this is directly from my person, I'm saying. Long time back, I met this woman. I'm not going to repeat her name. That put me into a lot of trouble. We ended up in court in restraining order and all for disclosing our name. So no, I'm not going to say that name, but she worked with me, and we had a problem. A little bit. We went into the romantic side of things, and then I realized, she got a kid, and I didn't really back off, but she pushed me out. Um, but the law, I don't want to go into deep into all those things. But one of my friend asked me, now that you know that she got a daughter, I think it is she got a daughter, yeah. Uh, what is this does it change? I said no, it doesn't change anything in me. You see, if she told me very honestly that she got a daughter and she have a different life or anything like that, if she was completely honest with me, that would have been totally acceptable for me. I'm not going to bother her at all after that. That's just me. I'm not that kind of a person. I said if she was actually coming to me and saying that, okay, you know, I really like you, but I have a, it's not just me. Then I said, okay, that daughter would have been my daughter. So that like my friend, one of my very close friend, we came together to United States. He married a woman, with 4 children. This guy is younger than me, and the lady is she is 1 year older than me. So he married her, and she when he married her, he knows that she have 4 children, and he took her and educated each, because those girls were all of them were girls. Those girls were all like in middle school or something like that at that time. Yeah, all in middle. One was in the high school, the others were all in middle school, and lower. He educated each one of them, sent them all to college, standing there as a husband and a father for them. And even now, those girls will call him daddy. That's even though their real father is out there, I don't know what he is. They don't even communicate with them. This person is the one they call daddy. See, I'm that kind. That guy learned things from me. You see, looking up at me because I'm older than him. So that's the kind of ways where we are from. I'm from South India. We are connected like that. We are not like weirdos. I know there are a lot of Indians. Who can't even keep their pants up. Who run around and do things. That's there. 95% of men in India are like that. That's why India got more than 1 billion people. Why do you think? How do you think this is happening? But I'm not one of them. I'm not. So if I were, I would have been back in there. We haven't told anything about poetry in 38 minutes. You see, this is how a conversation. So that's where we started. So now I think in between I actually deviated into what the idea was. See, this is how you speak. You need to take one portion and break that, and you get into the next part, to the next part, to the next part. Nearly 40 minutes, 38 minutes and 48 seconds, I spoke without even going deep into that poem. See, that's, you need to learn that this is not something you are going to, sit in a class and learn. You have to do it yourself. You have to, this is a good place for you to come and do that, where don't make up things. There are real life scenarios out there. But when you are young, like 19, 20 years old, you don't have a lot of experience, but you can read about experiences. There is no harm in it. When I was very young, when I was like 18, 19 years old, not 18, 19, much younger, about 14, 15 years old, I was in the library. I was sitting and reading. And there is a time when I go to the library and read. I stopped going there library. I mean, if I tell that, it will become very racial. I will tell you, but anyway, but I used to sit there and read like 4 or 5 hours. I read, during vacation and other things, Saturday, Sunday, I go there and read, my this thing. Then one of my friend came and said, "You go to the library every day, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I said, "How do you know this?" I said, "Martin told me." Martin is a librarian. And I said, okay. I said, okay, that guy got some issues, I think, isn't it? And he's like, issues? And I was like, oh, what is his problem, man? He's kind of not behaving properly. Did he do something to you? I said, no, no, no. What do you mean by do something to me? And I was like, then he stuck me. And I was like, really? Yeah, that's what he does. This is a closeted gay. So he's trying to hide that big time, bad time. When in this era, that guy, I don't know where he is now. He will be very successful in the United States, because, you know, he was trying to express things opposite to all the things he felt. I talked to him afterwards. I said, like, dude, you should have told me that you are a, homosexual person. I said, I do not have any problem with homosexuality, even though I'm not a homosexual person. He knows that. He's like, I know, but, I don't have any feelings for you, and he told me, and I was like, no, 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 I understand. But, you must be a little more, don't pressurize yourself. Don't put yourself into all kind of weirdness. I told him about all that, but I said, some people may think. Then I stopped, and I said, okay, then, as things are like this, people are actually questioning me about this. I'm going to stop coming to the library. And I stopped going to that library, and then I went to another library. Because, I don't want people to actually think that, I go and spend 5 hours in the library and come out, with a bunch of books, all tired, it can have that kind of a, rumors, and my friend told me, maybe, go to another library rather than going to that particular library. So yeah, I will do that. And I did that. So don't take it in any direction consideration. It is India in the mid 80s, so it's a whole different ball game. Even in the mid 80s in United States, it was a whole different ball game. I know that. Uh, so that's what, you know, we deviated into that talk, but it all comes at the end of the day. It all comes down to this. You have to be very honest to yourself first of all. That is a lesson you have to take. It is not so easy to be very honest. That's where we started this, isn't it? Where I talked about all the Saturn and Jupiter and all those things. Um, that honesty will actually guide you through. There will be shortfalls, there will be setbacks, that will happen, but stay honest even at that time. Do not deviate. It will, because if you deviate from that path, you are going to fall face down. And another factor I am telling you is even the smallest creature is created there and it is there for a reason. Unless it is physically attacking you, do not harm any creature. Not even one of your prayers are going to be accepted by God if you do that. There are people who unnecessarily go and kill creatures. Even if it is a small, spider, or a small, centipede or millipede, or silverfish, or things like that runs around your house. Do what it takes to capture that thing and throw him out. Give them a chance to go and live. Because in front of God, understand, I'm going to actually give you an explanation. This universe, when you look at it, from Saturn, I would love to show that picture, but I don't have that in my computer. So from Saturn, they took a picture, and the size of Earth is like this. This, can you see between me two? That's the size of Earth from Saturn. I mean, then there is, imagine the size of the entire Milky Way galaxy is about what, 200 billion stars? I think 100 billion, 100,000 light years across. And it is not even the other one, Andromeda galaxy is double the size of this. So those are like two small galaxies, there are like hundreds of thousands of galaxies out there. And imagine from God's perspective, when God looks at you, God can see you, but from that perspective, when you look, it's microscopic, we are all. So the difference between us and that creature is almost zero. You have no right to kill them. That is one of the things I have seen many people say, kill the, spider and cockroach and other things, they are all there for a reason. Throw them out, clean your place. You have a lot of things you can do to actually, my kitchen, when I go there, like, at least 50 of these fruit flies flying around. I was like, come on, guys, get out of here. So I opened my door and put my trash can and everything outside so that these guys will follow the trash, so that they let them go and live instead of buying some bug spray and spray out and kill all of this thing. That's not me. That's another thing. You have to be very, very careful with yourself. There will be shortfalls. There is a time, when you actually go there. Say, for example, once, I was actually opening my, kitchen sink, kitchen faucet. I opened that, not kitchen, I mean, bathroom faucet. Opened that, and I can see, there was a fruit fly or some fly that was sitting there. It fell into the water. Because when the water is coming in, I think it was sitting at the edge of that, tap. I didn't really see. Boom. And I was like, oh shit, how do I get this out? But it kind of went down the drain, so that kind of mishaps happen. That is a mishap. That is an accident. Accidents happen. That's why it's called an accident. Mistakes happen. You seek forgiveness for that. Those two things, you have to be very honest, and you have to be very, very careful and in showing kindness to little creatures. Like I told about that lady, no matter what she does, the Prophet said that woman is going to go to jail. And people are not, in Muslims are not even allowed to keep dogs, other than for guard dogs or things like that. In a farm, you can then that you can have, but you are not supposed to touch that. You cannot let that lick you. There are a lot of restrictions on that. But that's not the case here. But even for that creature, you are not supposed to kill that. You should you chase the dog away. Do whatever it takes to actually chase the dog away. That's what you should do. Instead of that, if you tie the dog and without giving it an opportunity to go and seek food, find food and eat and survive, if you do that, you are going to pay a very, very dear price. And that's something, people, I have seen in my neighborhood itself, they put all kind of things to actually chase these raccoons and other things come in their backyard. And I leave a bowl of cat food outside, and these things I have watched them coming and eating. When you see that, then you will understand, I'm not the greatest of the person, I'm not the richest of the person, but that one act of just going and seeing that and them satisfied. And here's a very, very beautiful thing I have seen with that. These creatures, they will come and eat this food. When I was actually watching them, this cat food which I actually leave there when in the bowl, the raccoon is eating, and it is eating, and it looks. There was like this cat, and the cat is waiting there. He finished that, whatever he wanted, ate that, and he left. The cat came and ate whatever he wanted, ate that, and he left. The cat came and ate whatever it ate, and it left. And then there is a possum that came. It lives right in front of my house, inside inside the drain. That's where he lives. He comes out of that. Recently, I think it was a she. I think delivered. There are small ones running around. They come and eat their portion. Then at that time when they all leave, they actually fill it again. Usually that happens. I do that in the winter. In summer, no, not a lot, because there is no need for that to do in the summer, because there is plenty of food available all around the world. But all these people who do barbecue and other things, they do all kind of things, put crackers at them, throw crackers at them, shoot them, they are coming for food, man. Come on. If you have some food to spare, give it to them. That's what you should do. So that, when you do those kind of weird things, God will not be kind to you. God will be very, very unkind to you. God will get you. Then you don't complain. Oh, I did all these prayers. I did all this charity. Why it is not working? Yeah. Think back, what wrong you did. These are the wrongs you did. It may not even feel like a wrong. It may think, I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my house. I'm cleaning. You clean up your house very clearly. None of these things will come in. That's what I told myself. I have to clean my kitchen now, because that's the reason why all these fruit flies are flying around, because there is something, attracting them, And for a couple of days, I removed all the white towels, because in my bathroom also, my towels are all white. So I removed the white towels, took them so that they will go away, because for some reason white things attracts them. White towels or white surfaces, that's where it goes and sits. Maybe it's because of the light or deflecting light or something like that interests them. It just goes and sits there. So I was like, okay, keep them away. So eventually they will leave. So that's how you deal with things, So you should be very, very careful about that. 50 minutes. I'm going to read the poem. I'm going to speak about the poem first. Excuse me. This is how you do shows. Um, okay, Joe is selling something. Okay. People are asking what is the name of the sex site. I don't go to sex sites. I know sex sites. I'm not saying I don't. And even if I know that, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give it to you. That will be virtual pimping, digital pimping. What you call? uh, okay. Now comes the poem. I need to drink some water. I drank the wrong thing. I drank the tea. When my mouth is getting dry, I should be drinking tea. I mean, water. The core idea of this poem is a repetition from many older poems. So that's why initially I said, okay, this poem is about repetition and other things. I wrote that takes the reader through a new set of light rays from the mind of a poem that shows how love can be drowned by wicked word. That's the poem. I mean, it's pretty much in recent times, for the last 1 year, I felt that there is a bunch of people around, even around me, there were, but I pushed them back. You know, those people comes from relations and not past relationship in sort of my relatives. So some of them actually criticize me for doing certain things or not doing certain things. Um, as well as friends who actually say, okay, yeah, you need to really find a girl instead of what is there is no girl in my life. We have to find a girl. Like one of my friends actually said, you know he likes heavy women. So I said, like, I need a woman with your mentality, who likes a heavy man. And he's like, I don't know anything girl, but uh, so in the same way, people who are influencing you, and influencing my girl. Of course, that happens. I understood that it is happening. When that is the case, so then how am I going to deal with it? That's what this writing is about. So many times I mentioned this. Do not listen to all the world, because once more I repeat. That world that is out there, around you, that you think is attached to you, they are not attached to you. They are there, for whatever reason it is. And once that reason is done, they are gone. But I will be there for you. That's the key. Sorrow of a Penancing Sage. Now let me go into the rest of the thing. That is the thing, on another note. Just browse through the pictures. My friend is going through some tough times. He's getting divorced, changing jobs, etc. So he needed to sell his cabin up top. Yeah, I think Little Boss may remember that guy, the guy who was with me when she met me in Colectivo. Um, he is getting divorced, uh, and he's going through some rough times. Everybody goes through that. Then he needed to sell that property in up north. Otherwise, it will be, so this property is completely in his name. So he needed to sell that so that it will not get bound to the all these alimony and other things, because it will confuse, because there's in multiple states involved. He is in North Carolina right now. So that's the thing. So I actually posted a bunch of pictures, and I should have actually brought the pictures. I didn't really read this part. So he needed to go. I went to help him out. Yeah, cleaning up the surface. If I had money, I would have bought it, as I know the history of the place very well. It was fun with me giving him many relationship advices like this one. A girl in hand is always better than just a hand. So yeah, I said, okay, yeah, you need to go and find a girl. For example, if it is a person like me who was not with a girl for a while, that's okay. I mean, when you are with a with a woman, whom you are married to, and then you are divorcing, then you need to immediately find something. instead of, there is that period of time, where you have to be alone, and then that's there. But I said, okay, even during that, find a friend, or somebody whom you can be with. It's not just a physical relationship that matters. Yeah, an opposite side, uh, you know a companionship from the opposite sex, is going to really help. And that suggestions and those things you talk to, they are always, going to help you, especially in that kind of situation. Mm, I took my newly bought 38 special, got some rounds, and shot it. He was so afraid of the gun. That's the first time I'm using a handgun 10 out of 12 on target. Yeah, I just went and started shooting with my 38 special. The guns you have seen, that is the 357 Magnum. I have a 38 special. That's the one that sits in there. There is a. Oh no, you can't see it. Okay. Yeah. Nice ass. Well, sorry, it's loaded. Sorry. I might have to take it. This is a fully loaded gun. This is a 38 special. This is a very cheap revolver. I like revolvers. I don't like pistols. I have, because I enjoy shooting it one by one and everything. Now there it is. It is empty. I may have to show you. You see, it is empty. You see, nothing. But I'm not going to point it to you, because YouTube will come after me. This is what is it? Oh, this is M206 RIA. So this it's made in Philippines, but everybody told me not to buy this gun, because when I actually bought it, I wanted a first gun. This is a 38, so it only fires 38 specials. It's handy, and it doesn't have a lot of recoil, because it's 38 special, of course. It doesn't fire the plus P, it's just the 38 special. So it will do its job, if you want to use it, So when I actually use the gun, I actually fire it, and say, if I can push it like this, you see, it's you need to use it a lot. So when I bought it, I saw the YouTube videos about it. I'll leave it there. I don't want to scare people. Some people get scared about it. So when I on YouTube, I have seen some videos where one of the guys actually told, this is a gun many people buy and instantaneously think that it's a Smith and Wesson or a Colt kind of revolver, which which is going to be smooth in the sand. No, it is a made in Philippines gun. It is very crudely made. So the thing is, first of all, you should be lucky to get the right piece. If you have a good piece, so many of them really don't function properly, get jammed. Even the revolvers will get, the wheel will get jammed and all. But when you get it, immediately don't use it. Clean everything up, make sure it is properly oiled back. Because there is a lot of this oil in it. You know, You see.
Call from 800-955-6600.
Stay there. Let's see. It's Sunday and telemarketers are still calling me. So stay there. uh, so when I was, this gun, they said, okay, you have to use it. So I bought like cheap ammo. That's the thing. Not cheaper than dirt. That is the website from where I bought all this ammo. And I took it to the range, and then every day I go to the range, fire like about 500 rounds. And the guy was like, oh man, you are good at it, because I use this one hand tap 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 tap. I'm precisely on target, So I'm a good shot. I learned and learned and learned and learned a lot, how to handle recoil, all those things I have learned. How to take this thing off the holster and other things, all the training. Then I went up north, the other groups of people I go up north with, I went with them and, trained myself, extensively. So yeah, I really love talking about it, but, I know, gun shows, showing guns in during shows are you know, a big problem for many people. We are at 60 minutes. Yeah, I know this is going to go beyond 60 minutes. It's a Sunday. Uh, so that's about the gun, the 38 special. Um, I can list 100 events of fun, but the Packers won. That's the best part. The Brewers are cruising to the playoffs, and life can change directions in any minute. I had hopes, but look at the way life happened. In about I think approximately 6 7 months, the life just went completely away. Life changed. Directions. Yes. Uh, then comes the best part, and I'm going to read this at the end of the poem. Okay, so I'm going to read the poem. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to see a magnificent poem. Sorrow of a penancing sage. Heart beats to find a rhythm from the body to follow. Perplexing times in narrowed spaces, no rhythms found. So all arrows of the life at the unloved soul returned. The very thought about love, an endless torture. But from deep inside the soul, the courage he found, where colors of all that world adore meant nothing. The path of the world paved with rubbish filled, and they led to pastures that shone unrecognizable in mirages. Oh, each wishes inside his soul with her face he weaved, and every one of those wishes he strung together. Dedicated every bit of his energy in those wishes, but a penancing sage he became, alone in some wilderness. Not so far, not really near, she stood, sat, slept, but left him in his penance as the world in all its colors around her danced. Those chaos blurred visions deafened her and drowned the felt love. A drop of tear rolled down Sage's cheek to become ink of his verse. So to wrap this thing, ink of his words, because the verse is already written. So for his verse, that also is workable. Yeah. Well, during the editing process, I will actually think about it. Yeah, I need to go through the editing process. Yeah. Now, what was it I'm actually going to wrap this with? I told I'm going to save this part at the end of the poem because there's a reason for that, and that reason is something beautiful. I'm going to come back to it, and oh man, oh man, where is that thing? Okay. The poem ends. The blog actually ends with this way: Little boss, a dreamer always wishes to know the beginning of the dream, thinking that that's where the best part is. But from our little connection, you know that that's where the toughest part was. What it means is, yeah, when you see a dream, usually it is in the middle of it. You always start, because you are running with somebody. You're running, but where did it all start? You don't know, and you don't remember. You know that the subconscious mind is actually bringing this to you, not from the middle. It's bringing the whole thing, but you only remember that much. Where things. Um, and even remembering it after 1 hour is a big challenge. So you want to know what exactly where it was started, but in the same way, many connections start maybe a little rough, but that's where that those are the things that goes into complete darkness, that you don't even remember it after some time. Even though I actually keep that thing written down and remind myself and again and again and again. I do that because that's there were some good moments in between which you don't want to even leave. But even though it was where the toughest part was, so that's where I'm ending, because sometimes it takes that tough part to actually build a very strong foundation.